I'm trying to work out this, like sharing it.
Oh, well, don't worry. I'll tag you on it. It'll show up on your page.
Yes, awesome.
Here,
Very
let's
good.
see. There we go.
Okay.
All right.
We'll just wait for that to go through. How is everyone? Hopefully really good.
Yeah,
Not everyone.
they're not here
I
yet.
know everyone. Okay, so let's see if we can
Yeah,
refresh this. There's a bit of lag. Yeah, I got it now.
I just
Awesome.
tagged you.
Hang on.
Yeah, you're good.
Perfect. We will add to profile. There we go. All right, guys. So,
So Kelly
yeah.
Louise Parker is in the house from South Australia. What's happening on your end of the this great unveiling that some call the apocalypse?
It's been amazing. Hang on, guys. I'm just going to get this sorted so I've got no echo. Bear with me. We're having a little bit of a. Okay, we're good. Perfect. Um, okay, let's get into it. All right. So this all started with me quite some time ago. I came here pretty well awake. I yeah. I don't know where to start. Okay, where do we start?
You can just start
Okay,
wherever you
so
want. You said
okay,
you came in this way. Have you
okay, so
all
the sevens is probably just the best place to start.
the
So it
seven?
helps to explain, helps to explain who I am, how I found out who I was, and what I do in all this. So uh, my date of birth is the 17th of the 7th, 1979, and I was born at 7 a.m. That being said, there are, as we know, 7 states in Australia. There are 7 continents in the world. Uh, there are specific planets that resonate deeply with this hemisphere or atmosphere. I don't want to go into quantum straight away. We're just going to cruise into this slowly, hopefully. And the speed of light is, as we know, 0.017, so 17. That number, all these numbers resonate in any historical narrative that we have today. So anyone like you, Todd, who has done that historical research, will know how prevalent those numbers are in the system. That being said, uh, the goddess Kali, as have seen, some see as a goddess, again, the duality, and how people would see me and what form I would encompass changes dependent on their perception. So each individual has a unique perception of me, as do I of you. However, we are all if you will, interconnected with quantum entanglement. So that is the collective mindset, if you will. Moving forward from that, I came into this just as a 42-year-old mum that had a near-death experience and was shifted abruptly because of my role. And I wanted to make that transition, if you will, a little more easy, less painful, less dramatic, if you will, for everyone. Some call it the dark night of the soul. Going from there, in came light language and all other sorts of things that I didn't have labels for because I didn't go to a school or study. So I just literally sat in a circle. So,
What do you mean? What do you mean?
I sat in. So basically, I created here in Naracoorte because of the volcanic energy. Being an energetic worker, I am aware of the linear magnetic field as well as others. So I created circles of which transmute positive energy into positive energy. Todd. Oh my god.
Wait a minute.
And anyway,
Wait a minute. Slow down a
so
second. So you know what?
yes,
Do me a favor.
yeah,
Kill the music because I'm not
yes,
sure if that's creating.
got it.
If it's
Perfect. I would
because
like, yeah,
your
it would.
voice keeps coming in and out.
Got you.
Okay, let's
Perfect.
back up for a
All right,
second.
let's go
So
silence.
42,
Yes.
so how long ago was this?
April 2020. So it was actually
2020,
April
okay.
23rd. Yeah, April 23rd, 2020 at 3:33 a.m. Gabriel came to me and took me on a journey.
Now, now
And
up to this point, had you had a lot of dimensional experiences?
yes,
Okay, so you had, but everything.
yeah, like every 7 years, I
Okay,
shift
okay,
humanity.
okay. So in April of 2020, you got uh, pushed up again. And everything got
Yeah,
okay.
it was actually not due. It was actually due on the 21, which was so it came as a bit of a abrupt shift, if you will. And I think just because of the expansion and the rate of expansion that we were at, it was needed for this timeline. Understanding that now, at the time I didn't. Obviously, I was taken aback for some time. Obviously, a complete reset. So realization that these terms that we use were, if you will, primitive, and learning to adjust my information or akashic wisdom to be able to be translated into these linear terms it was a task. Let's
Okay.
say that. Um, so that shift, if you will, when I went with Gabriel and I was shown my true self, I didn't use those angel guides for very long once I was aware of who I was, um, as a standing, if you will. And so it made my transitions through this were quite unique. And I realized that for everyone, that they were all very, very unique. So taking it away from me, myself,
Mm-hmm.
watching, observing as a whole, I realized how beautifully unique this symphony was orchestrated, and our role in each piece of that, and our unique timing or divine timing as we come into these roles, if you will.
No, no, I got you.
Um,
I got you. Let me ask you this, and I'm asking you because there's a lot of people waking up or that are having let's say, next level expansion experience. And so there's no right or wrong answer. But so when Gabrielle came in April
mhm,
2020, were you
mhm.
in dream state? Were you in meditation? Were you just out
So
in
yeah, I can walk you guys through that.
yeah.
So I woke at 3 a.m. I had prayed tajud before bed. So that's like a prayer of your intention.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I went to bed and I woke at 3 a.m. I had to pray. I knew I had to pray. My heart hurt. And so I went and I washed and I put my robe on and I went into prayer. And as my head uh, touched the ground in my first sajud, I felt a pressure from behind, from above and behind, all around me, push me down. It was like I was being pushed down, and then all the oxygen was taken from the room. It was dark. So I was praying in the dark. There was no sense of space, time, body. There was just no thing. And then there was like this shift of elements, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
and I became like I was observing in the third person, if that makes sense.
Right.
So I was one of 14, and we were being spoken to, and our bodies that we were in spoke for us. So our hands, our feet, our everything spoke for us. If we didn't have the answer, it spoke for us. And then after that, there was this space that I was taken to where it was everyone was there, but no one was there. And I was told Sabar Jamil, which means ultimate patience. And 100 times they said this to me. And they kept, every time they would ask me, why do you want to go back? I would be like, my children, the people aren't ready. They don't know. I've got to go back. So the more panicked I was, the longer I had to wait. Anyway, so I just I sat in that moment, and ultimately I just got to this space where I knew if I just was still, I would be able to come back. So I ultimately came back after that and calibrated or aligned my human persona with my soul's, my highest self, if you will,
Okay.
energy. And so this is what I've sort of come to, that in my sayings, my poetry that comes through, as you know, you get it as well. We all, anyone that's deeply channeling is getting that. The light language, the poetry, the algorithms, everything, they're all part of this beautiful symphony. And I thought, is there a way I can connect with these individuals? I'd like to connect deeper than that and actually feel them. So experience every sense. So the 7 senses here in this dimension. That was my goal. So Todd, when you came in with your little bit, it was amazing. Like, you pulled it all together, because I couldn't, there were things like, we each have this little piece of the puzzle, if that makes sense. So
Yes.
it was as though all of a sudden, pretty well, my dreams were being answered, because there were these individuals coming into my field that carried these sticky notes, as I see it, that I had placed with you guys. So you know, when I open up and I begin talking to you guys, once we get the bodies out of the way, it's quite easy for me to align you guys with your highest self, if you will. And when you become aware of that, there is a transition through that you may experience some resistance or residual energy as we go through that. And that is my role, as we say, like,
I
we
see.
each carry a role. So it takes around about 42 minutes. I worked out 2 lots of 21 minutes.
That's funny because
And
there's 42 people in the house at this moment.
yeah, I know.
Isn't
Yeah,
that
I
crazy?
know.
So let me
So
ask
those
you.
numbers
Yeah,
those numbers.
I got you. So let me ask you this. You were already, like a lot of people, your story sounds a lot like most of the people that have come on this show, 3,000 plus
I was hit
episodes.
by lightning at 7, so that was my real big one.
Keep what?
I was hit by lightning, literally.
Oh, at 7.
At 7
Okay.
years old. So that sort of, my nan was an elemental worker. So it was a full moon. The moon sung to me, and she said, "Oh, you're so young." She walked me down to her chanting area, her working area, and sat me beside a gum tree with her white horse. And this white horse was with me. I was patting her, and my nan was chanting, and I got hit by lightning. And so when I woke, she said, "Oh my God, I've killed her," but her mouth didn't move, but I heard her. So it's been like that since then,
So,
pretty well.
so now this event that happened in April 2020 with Archangel Gabriel's consciousness guiding you, and then you made a mention of other angels being involved, and that eventually they kind of dropped away or embodied within you. So
They
you're
just told me, they said, when I had reached a blue seraphim status, beyond that, it's really just you and source.
right,
I
right,
mean, not saying I wouldn't call them in, like I do. We have conversations, you know what I mean? Like, there's these deep, meaningful conversations, like Michael and everyone, you know, that there are these deep, meaningful conversations, but at the same time, there is this outside of that, beyond that. And I think that's the light that I want to bring to the table, is that beyond the historical narrative that we know
right.
to date, there is so much more that is to be explored. And yeah, so
So
as you go through these levels, if you will, of consciousness,
yes,
they say mastery. Well, to me, I'm always the student, so I'm constantly mastering something new. Like, there's not this, there is no finality in that. So, you know, if you will, infinite beings, we don't have a finality to our knowledge that we obtain or acquire as we go along,
right.
if that makes sense.
No, it makes
But this
total.
body,
No, this is our language. You
body
know
is
that.
grateful, but it's not a permanent thing. You know, we borrow it, is what I
Yeah,
say.
yeah. I said we remix it. We remix it. We're all DJs and we
Did.
remix.
either,
So let me ask you. And I think you've already started talking about this, but
Yes.
so Kelly before April 2020, Kelly since April 2020. What do you feel has been the biggest difference for you in your consciousness, in your journey, in your experience?
I think the acceptance of the, if you will, the duality of the human existence has been amazing. Prior in my existence, the if you will, I don't like to say it, but the dark matter or the negate, the negative aspects of the human and the human form and the soul's existence was not explored effectively, and so was somewhat shunned upon, if you will, in previous context. So bringing that into this moment now, the acceptance of both the dark and light matter, and then the alignment or harmonic balance that is becoming through that transition has been absolutely phenomenal to observe. And the unity that it has created has been amazing, which was again the original uh, goal, if you will, to unify us as unique beings, but to unify us all the same. So, excuse me, um, that would be my biggest takeaway. Also, the fact that I was uh, I guess the way in which the like the symphony, I call it, is orchestrated, it was done in such a way that it was not like it was no more than I could bear. At the same time, it was sometimes very pressing. Yesterday we had a pressing day, so with these, and that's what I sort of say to people, is with these waves that we're experiencing, these conscious waves or shifts that we're experiencing, if rather than trying to swim against the current, if you would just flow with that current, although some of those waves are going to look pretty fucking hectic
Yeah, I know.
visually.
It's like how do you flow with a
Like,
tsunami? How do you flow with a series of tsunamis?
keeping it as real as we can, as long as, if you just have full trust that on the other side of that wave,
Right.
there is this beautiful stillness. It is just absolutely phenomenal. And the amount of wisdom that you will acquire within that field and the balance that you will acquire is just, I can't, there's not words for it, bro.
No, I got
Like,
you.
there
I
really
got you.
isn't words.
Yeah. You know,
So if I can take people to that place just for a small moment, it's enough for them to remember. Or so it's like 0 point, what I say. And it's enough for you to actually remember and be able to take yourself back to that moment whenever you need be,
yeah.
which is really cool.
Yeah, a lot of particularly women, if not 99.99%, that have come on the show talk about the same type of thing where through their experience they've been shown the door, let's put it that way, and
Mm.
that they're somewhat of a spiritual midwife, that
Mm-hmm.
they don't deliver the baby, they take a person to that space so that they can then the person can then take it from there. Now,
Most of
one of the other things that people talk about, and again, I'm asking about your experience because
Mhm.
of the coding that it carries for people that may have just gone through this or about to, and that is that when these things happen, often, not always, and I just want to see what your take on it is. But when these
Mm.
things happen, like such that happened to you in April 2020, and
Mhm.
in the months that have followed, that when these things occur, it's
Mm.
not always, in fact, most of the time, if not always, it's a situation where it's not just fluffy love and light. It's not just, wow, I got the download and the epiphany and the information and the
Mm.
abilities have been expanded and everything is hunky dory. But that what actually happens is that as a part of the indoctrination and actualization of the download, that the human entity in our multidimensionality starts to be presented with things that they hadn't had the perception to take on before. So it can be
Correct.
challenging to the ego. It can be challenging to the human aspect.
Most definitely.
And I was
Yeah.
just curious is if that is what occurred with you and to what degree did it
Yeah.
happen?
Yeah, most definitely. So I would say the egoic self, that's a massive part of this journey. When you, I think the biggest one that I was told was from my grandmother, and she said, with great responsibility, like with great power comes great responsibility. Now, predominantly the people that come to me are seeking for their gifts. Many have, for whatever reason, they're unaware of them, or they've misused them or whatever. Yeah, I don't want to go into that, but so they come to me and they're like, oh, I got my gifts, and then they're gone. And I say to them, well, this is where the use intention. So everything is intention in this now. Everything is intention.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so if you have greed, lust, envy, jealousy, any of those, if you're carrying any of those, you're really going to get just stuck in a loop, like what I call hell loops. And that's where you need someone like me, which will help pull you, and there's many of us, help pull you from those hell loops, if you will. So moving forward from that, where am I going with this? The great responsibility and power thing. So we all want, that's a natural human, because we want to absorb and adapt. But the thing is, we will only get, as we're transitioning through this, you will only get what you need.
Right.
So rather than wants, you're going to get needs. So be clear with your intention. So my intention was for love, health, harmony, and peace for all of humanity, myself included. Less lack, because lack creates anxiety, fear, disease, so on and so forth. So bringing that to the table, my intention was not solely for myself. So although I knew I would benefit from this transition, my intention was not for me, myself. Ultimately, it was for my legacy that I was leaving behind, which is because we're all one. It is us. So our children, our legacy.
Yeah.
So yeah, there is this definite, if you will meet with demons, with these dark parts of yourself, and if you can't accept them lovingly, this is where I say, so it's unconditional love, to see good in all that
Mm-hmm.
is, if you will. There is no right, wrong. There is no
Mm-hmm.
good or bad. There just is. There is the isness of fact of now, right now, in this moment, like right here. There's just, you know, we can't repeat this. It's not going to repeat. There is just now. So bringing everyone to that moment of now, in that moment, can you sit aligned and in harmonic balance with all parts of you, every aspect,
Yeah.
both dark and light,
Yeah.
and accepting unconditionally with love, full acceptance and recognition, because this is where we move forward.
Right.
This is where we move forward into the next step of our journey, to be a balanced, harmonic being, a stable source, not one heavy element, one light element, where we are one stable source. Again, pushing any negative energy, like we can use Mother Earth, she's there for us. You push this negative energy down into the core, like a root system down into the core, instantaneously Mother Earth will transmute that energy into a positive light, balancing, sustainable, loving energy. And that is what we do with these circles that we create, whether they're square, triangle, whatever shape you envision. When we spin that energy and we're creating that vortex of energy, we are literally taking that negative or heavy, dense energy and transmuting it into a light, abundant, harmonious energy. That's all we're doing in all of this. So right along, all these workers that are just as before, when I was sitting and I'm communicating with the sister in light language. We're communicating with our fairies, our dragons, our elements, you know, for me, the sky, like I wanted to be, if I could reincarnate as anything, I said I'd come back as the sky, because you can just see everything. It's just beautiful. So not that we're going to reincarnate, because the ones that are at this level know we're not reincarnating again. We're aware that we have transitioned through those phases of, like for me, I had to do, I think it was 8,972 reincarnations to get to this.
Wow.
So
That's a hell of a
so,
loop.
you know, and that's only physical ones, like that's human. Like I carried a human form, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Or a form. Aside from that, I've done many shifts, as well, you know. So it's beautiful. And like I said to them, people are like, oh, but you're all by yourself. And I'm like, I'm really not.
No.
I'm really not.
You know, you brought something up that I've had some experience with, even going back like 10, 12 years. And that is these feminine lineages that have a physical, part of their journey. Vivian, who was just on, her mom's been on, and she's lit. And she made mention of her grandmother in that thing. But I've met some others, some that were really deep rooted. I met a lady from West Virginia, and in the mountains of West Virginia, which is pretty desolate.
Yeah.
And they had, going back, several generations of what people might call white witches or whatever you want to call it. Doesn't matter. But shamanic lineage, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But it sounds like, it sounds like your grandmother instilled in you some things at a very early age.
It's been for a long time. Yeah, so it's been for a long time. How do I say? So my lineage is Celtic, and then it goes back to Petra. So I've got like both sides. I had like this warrior side, and then I had like this goddess side that I had to incorporate, if you will, this physical form. And with the direct lineage going back to, if you will, the original sisters, and how they were portrayed in whatever part of the globe. We each had a role, and I was that little sister, if you will, that was always running away from the two in the sky sort of thing. So I was like the one, or the one hiding behind, and like I was Aisha in Khadija, I gave her visions, and we there was so many things that roles I've played. In the Sahaba, going back further, like I can just run through them all. There's a million, but like, anyway, when you come to the realization that those roles that you played ultimately create the embodiment you are sitting in front of us now.
Right.
To be not revered this time as a goddess was one of my key things. So to play my role, but to do it with like a humble bravery. So in this day and age, to be completely aware of your power, your gifts, who you are, but yet not be the ego and grasp that as a god, if you will.
Right.
And just, can we all be something so huge? And then this is the thing: can you hide a diamond in something that you would never ever look for? This is God's sense of humor, if you will, or Source's sense of humor. We're sitting up there. Imagine, you've got your higher self sitting there at a screen watching all of this and going, "That's funny." Like, that's funny.
Yeah, I always get the gods laughing. I call it the gods laughing.
It's beautiful. So if you can laugh with this, if you can see it in the light. So rather than, oh my God, we've got desolation, we've got this, we've got that, we've got, like all these, if you will, residual, three-dimensional thinking systems. If you can literally take yourself out of that, and the more people that do, that just like anything, it becomes just a residual layer, like all the others that we have below us and above us and beside us and right here in this now. I mean, they're just intermingling because I just do now. It's easier.
Yeah, doing now is much easier. Being present is.
Well, Eckhart Tolle, he brought to light a lot for me.
Who was that?
Eckhart Tolle.
Oh, Eckhart Tolle. Okay.
Yeah, so he brought to light a lot. Dolores Cannon, she's a beautiful being,
Yes.
and has guided me very well. I was told to seek the scholars, so I did. I literally did. In every field I could find, I sought a scholar, whether that was quantum dynamics or religious contexts, translations, whatever it might have been. Over the last, I think 2009, I came into it. I pretty well just sought every scholar in the field of what I was searching for.
Right. Let me ask you this, and everybody's answer is different. But again, I just want to get an idea because everybody's different. What if any do the galactic aspects or star families play in your journey? Is it something that's what's that?
Heaps.
Oh, they do heaps. Okay.
A lot. So predominantly, just prior to coming on, we did a little channeling. I don't know how well that's showing.
Here, I'm gonna put you on full screen. Okay, there you go.
Thanks. So this is just like one that I did just prior coming in, and I always do. And if I was able to show you my room, I have literally star maps, charts, galactic channeling from pretty well everywhere, like everywhere. Places that some don't even know yet, which is really cool. And as they roll out, obviously there is this divine timeline that we speak of. As they roll out, more and more of this, if you will, Akashic wisdom is presented to the mass. So with the removal of the veils, if you will, as that happens, as these shifts go through, and like I said, so some won't see. People are like, oh, they're not waking up. I need to make this clear for people, that if someone you love is seeing it, they will see. Do not panic. Don't be afraid. They will see, and they will see in their own unique timeline, is what I want to say. So if you have someone close to you that isn't on the exact same pathway as you, don't be concerned that they're not going to come along. They're just at their pathway. So I've not come along one yet that is the same. We are all very, very unique in which we grasp and
right, of course.
Grasp that information.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, there's a lag.
Sorry, I've got a truck.
No, we're good. There's just a bit of a lag. Okay, so do you receive? Let me ask you this: what star family specific do you have communion with, and do you ever receive like general intel as to what's going on, like say at a given time, or is it just personal guidance?
Yeah, no, I got an April download. And I'll get all my stuff sorted. Hang on a minute. I had it already. I did. I promise.
It's okay. We're fine. It's all divine timing.
Exactly. Right. Okay. Here we go. So I got. That was the AU download. Okay. So. April. And I was talking to Bonnie about this. Bear with me. Line it all up, so I've got it all right. Does anyone else do journaling? Yeah, you do. You know what it's like. I have shit everywhere. No shit. But anyway, being serious.
So are these channelings coming from a specific star family?
So I have channeled. I wish I had have just done this on my phone because it would have been easier to show you, but I've done it on the computer. I've channeled from everyone from Arcturian to Syrian to unlabeled beings, and just in order to create safe transitional portals, if you will. So if you look at the matrix as just say as a box, yeah, there are, if you will, small cracks or weak spots in that. And so basically, when we found a weak spot, we created a portal that opened that. And then from there on, we create a safe pathway. I don't like the word safe, but an effective pathway for individuals to navigate our interdimensional planes. So when we started, I wonder if I can't even screen share. It's okay. We're fine. So when
you can actually, you could actually screen share if you want to.
I wonder if I can.
So if you look on the screen, should be like a little TV looking
thing.
thing.
I see the screen share, but
yeah.
This is what's going to happen. So let's see if we can
click that.
I'm going to just try and get up. Yeah, well, bear with me. I'll get rid of some stuff first.
You're good.
Bear with me.
So if you click that, I should be able to put that on the screen.
Hang on, bear with me. We'll just get this up and we'll see if we can. I will try and grab some pictures. One in particular I was going to show. Where's the blue map? I don't use my computer much. I use my phone a lot.
That's cool. I mean, we don't have to.
Bear with me.
It's up to you.
So basically, at the end of the day, Todd, and I'll try and do this just to get you a photo so you can see if I can, because I have so many. I'm just trying to get one of the star maps, rise and fall. That will work. If I go into that, you can open. Yes. Okay, cool. All right. So here we go. Screen share. Let's go back and we'll do a share screen. And we're going to, that's cool. And
there's a little icon with a TV
going
on
like that.
Oh, there you are. Hang on.
So
let me pull it up. Let me see.
So now.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Does that look good?
Yeah, we can see them. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so this is only some small ones. It hasn't got them all in it, and it doesn't actually have any of the star maps in it, of course. But these depict like the rise and fall that we've gone through as a whole, if you will, or a collective. And so that was, if you will, not that one. Let's not do that one. This one. So this grey one here, if you can see my little pointer, yes. This depicts the nothing, if you will. And you can see these sigils that I've put around here. This is what I'm trying to explain to you guys as these energetic portals that we have created, many of us, in order to communicate effectively outside of the third dimension.
Okay.
So these that I show here are just a visual representation. This here is an Atlantis and Egyptian depiction of when I fell way back then. And so that is how I visually see and I channel. And so they're quite vivid, and my artwork is probably the best way that I can share my depiction. So again, light and dark in these two.
Yeah.
And you'll just, so I've drawn the eye since I was a little girl. That is very relevant to this. This here is basically the very first one I did after April 23rd.
Okay.
And it explains that how we are an emotional blueprint in a non-relative time container. And that we are living through non-relative time loops, lapses, or glitches, as it says up there. Now, 0 to 17 being the number in which the dimensional shifts, conscious shifts that I would be working with these individuals. 21 being the, if you will, the top of the numerical
Yes.
value that I would be working at. But as you can see just there, I've noted that -4 below are non-viable. So being clear about that, that the 3-dimensional and 4-dimensional historical narrative is not viable
Right.
within the fifth and further beyond that. So we won't take that with us. And that is, again, the loss of the egoic self,
Yeah.
if that makes sense
Yeah, we
for
were talking about that
individuals.
earlier today. How
Hmm.
in other words, how we don't take that stuff with us, and its relevance is quickly fading, right? Like
Yeah, most definitely.
it's
Most definitely.
quickly
Yeah.
no longer even. It's a moot point to discuss it, right? It's a moot point
Hmm.
to carry it forward, because why would we want to carry something forward if we know it's not going to be there?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So and so the one that I always hear, I'm going to go with a poem apparently
Yeah,
because
that's cool.
they say so. So I called it Mother Mary, center of attention when they all need a clue. A vision they had has all gone askew. I stand with source and none other will guide as I push all this pettiness aside. Searching for 7 prophets to lead and shade me and my 6 sisters by my side. Oh my, this has been such a ride. I've had to duck, I've had to hide. But now I know that it is time for all our beautiful souls to shine. They scream, Mother Mary, let me be. I cannot take this insanity. So, uh, hopefully that's not too cryptic,
No.
and people will understand. I would love, and I have spoken with Ryan Valentine about the Ascension LP. So hopefully that's going to be really cool for us to get some music out there, and maybe even get Ryan at Soulogy. That would be really awesome.
Ryan, what Ryan?
Ryan Valentine, he's done an LP called Evolution.
Mm-hmm.
Really cool dude. Anyway, so we are all coming together, and I have seen visions of the stage and such. As you know, we all share our visions. And I do know how now that Morgan is in Australia, which is amazing, which explains that deep connection to you, Todd. So
She's from Adelaide.
yeah, it's pretty cool, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So I was on the bus. This is really cool. So I was on the bus, and literally every week I was going up because I cut my hand, and I was having hand surgery, work cover, which I don't know how to navigate. Anyway, that's another thing. And I was on the bus, and anyway, at the start, people looked at me like I was an absolute weirdo. Yeah, like because I've got my crystals on the window ledge, and I'm working energy. Like I've got my box of crystals. People are thinking like, oh my god, yeah, like I can read them, and gradually they started putting these individuals on the bus that were resonant, like they resonated to me and like they were drawn to me. And
Mm.
it was like really cool. So I started talking with these individuals, and it just spread. And then it was like in the bus station, and then it was everywhere. And then there was like a busload of people looking at me. I was like, ignore that. Just keep doing you.
Wow.
Just, and it really it was like the Truman Show. Like I said to people, like, this is no shit like the Truman Show.
So
Like,
that's for all of those who are just experiencing this type of thing or about to. This is a great example of what it's like. You'll be doing things without a care in the world of what people think, that on the outside looking in from the human perspective might look very crazy, but actually carries a bunch of magic, such as in your story where people come on the bus and start to resonate with what you're doing,
yeah.
right?
Like I've got kids playing hopscotch in my rock circle, man.
Mm.
Like they love it. They're bringing rocks to my circle.
Wow.
I'm so grateful. It's just beautiful. It is. It's lovely. And like women that are walking their children past are like asking, like, oh, what is it? And I'm like, oh, if you ever got like some heavy energy going on, you can come sit in here, just like chuck it down in the circle and walk away free, like walk away light. They're like, really? It works? I'm like, yeah, try it. Like, just have a go. You'll
Yeah.
love it.
Does it ever feel to you like you're doing now what you were doing lifetimes ago in other eras, other
Yeah,
centuries? Yeah.
to some degree, yes. Slightly different. I guess the intention now changed it. So predominantly, the most vivid, I guess, is a time where I was revered as a goddess, and it was very ego driven.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, like underneath there was this like loving Kelly,
Yeah.
but it was egoically driven the last time as which I stood as a goddess, if you will, and was revered as a goddess. And I actually, it's really hard for me now. I do have people contact me and they're like, "Oh, you're a goddess, you're a priestess," and I'm like, no,
I'm
please
just
don't.
Kelly. I'm just Todd now. I'm just Todd now. I'm just Kelly. Right? I mean
Just
that
you,
there
like I'm
I
just a human. Like,
yeah,
come
I
on,
feel like
like.
that I feel like that
I
cuz
mean, we can speak in our light code, and we can really pull. Like, I mean, I was singing with with the sister before, and I mean, we get goosebumps, and we know like there's this,
yeah.
heavy transition, and I will get to that. And this is the thing when we take all what we can understand. Yeah. So take
Mhm.
it away. So make it where it's
In,
free. One,
right.
what does everyone want? They want something that's free. Yeah. Two, they want something that they don't know. Even though they don't know it, they want something they don't know.
Right.
Okay. So we seek the unknown because we want to observe, adapt, know. That's what we are. Uh, but when you come into this, if someone was to speak to you, and I've had people say it when I speak to them in light language, they're like, "What the fuck are you saying?" Like this, like literally. And I'm like, "It's all right. You don't get it now, but you will." And that's how I do it. So rather than that judgment of the
Mhm.
individual not comprehending
Mhm.
that level of intellect, we can just say, "It's okay. It's okay that you don't get it yet, but you will." And that's taking that egoic self away
Yeah.
again, because it is not our role to force anyone into this movement, this shift, if you will.
Yeah.
It is a person. We have free will of choice, as we well
Right.
know. So as workers or energetic workers, you can call us healers, you can call us whatever, witches, blah blah blah, there's a million labels, right? But
Mhm.
as energetic workers, wizards, whatever, we have an obligation to adhere to that free will of choice.
That's
So
right.
if that individual, if you get any resonant frequency there that says, I don't wanna, like I'm not ready, you cannot force that. You just have to literally accept that is in divine timing, it will come across for them. So
Yeah.
same with my children. I was like, why can't I work with my children? you know, like, you know.
How old are your children?
So 23, 21, 16, and 15.
Are you picking up
17,
are you
17 and 16. I'm sorry.
Oh, I know. I had 6. Are
And I have
you
an I have a yeah, I have a 18, 19-year-old in spirit form, and I have two 22-year-old girls in spirit form that are with me. We'll say it. So I had to go back and pick one up because I sort of like
okay?
had an issue. But
So,
anyway,
in regard first to the ones that are incarnated presently,
yes.
we'll get to the next ones. Uh,
Mhm.
and particularly the younger ones, the 15 and 16. Are you
Yeah.
picking up anything from them? Because a lot of people
Yes.
that I've talked to are picking up one way or the other coding or something from these
Yeah.
younger people.
Yeah, most definitely. So my two, and I wouldn't even limit it to the two, all four of my physical legacies that I have here, or my children, uh, carry deep encryption and are not new souls. They're not first time souls here. They have come again, and I probably want to make it really clear right in this moment that everyone has fallen here on Earth.
Yeah,
So like there's no kids are like immune. Like there's just this you're here. Like
right.
just you need to accept that you're here. Like in this now. So moving forward from there, the codings in which and the connections in which I have with my children is very very deep. So upon I had a couple of sporadic reasons, and I haven't really explained them. But my children were separated from me due to some issues with a male energy who had not yet healed and was going through some stuff. I don't judge. We can say pedophile, I suppose, and blatantly right. So I trusted someone and was betrayed again. Anyway, so my two children are not with me in the physical. However, I do. We not constantly. So I'd like them, as you know, under my wings. I'd like them like right here, you know.
Right, I
But
understand.
we are still very, very connected and we're talking, but they don't live with me. They don't reside with me due to, for whatever reason. And I do have trouble navigating the 3D. So you guys know I'm really good at the other bit, but 3D.
Welcome to the party.
Yeah. So anyway, long story short, I got to a point where I was really aware that my children, not only I was sending out a very, very distinct message, but also so were my children. And they were, not only was I being heard, but so were my children. And also the level of communication in which I could have with my children outside of a phone or uh, tech that we have,
Right.
or even, even in the physical. So on a telepathic level,
Right.
I realized that connection and how deep it was and how I could effectively use that to, one, protect my children, two, to guide them, and three, to network so that I could stay in contact with them at all times.
Right. Far out.
So yeah, we did that.
And how did you come across your kids that are non-physical? The 20 yeah. How did
22-year-old twin girls. I miscarried at 21 weeks.
Okay.
Yep. And then my son, Matthew, so he lived to 6 weeks old. He died of septicemia due to, I was on the methadone program. So I went through opiate addiction. The doctors weren't very thorough in explaining the ill effects of opiates on babies and also the pregnant mother.
Right.
So long story short, my son was born premature through C-section, the only C-section I've had. And he was given methadone as a baby.
Right.
And I've got like someone here. It's okay.
Yeah.
So he was given methadone as a baby and then sent home to me with a clean bill of health. Apparently, I was just doing like the doctors say, and trying to get through shit. And he seemed like a normal baby, and I trusted what they were telling me rather than my instincts.
Sure.
Something told me something was wrong.
Right.
And long story short, I fed him the night he passed away, and he passed away in my arms. And it was an experience that I would not wish on any human soul. It very, very, it shook my core.
Yes.
And it took me 17 years after burying my son to return to the gravesite where I buried my son.
Yes.
To retrieve his spirit
so
to be with me.
Thank you for sharing all that with us.
That's okay. Didn't really want to go there, but I suppose it's going to come out.
Well, you just
it is.
Just being spontaneous. But you've exactly. Also, you're continuing a relationship with these children.
Most definitely.
And that's children. Is that something that's pretty constant in your life?
100%. Yeah. On my altar, I have a photo of my son. He is always with me. He's a very strong energy. And the reason that we won't go into reasons as per se, but he is more helpful to the human transition right now as an energetic source, not in a physical form, is what I would say to you.
I got you.
So he's like my rope to source is what I say. Or they all are. So if you imagine like an umbilical cord, I believe that the umbilical cord is never severed from our children. We cut it in the physical sense, but this rope this umbilical cord from mother to son to
Mm.
whoever. This is an infinite rope. It's like it doesn't go anywhere. So uh, when people say, "Oh, but my loved one passed over," well, just follow the rope. Just
Mm-hmm.
that's all you need to do is just like threads or
Mm-hmm.
however you see it, ribbons. Some see ribbons, some see threads, some see boxes. It's really individual, but just follow them, and there is no disconnection. There is no separation. Uh, there is only this oneness of energy, and then how you embody it. So me being the eldest of my lineage here in this earth plane, I embodied all of that wisdom because it needs to be heard.
Right.
How in which I probably presented it was a little chaotic at the start.
Join the club. We're all there. Believe me. So
Kurna
okay. So
Ishmael.
and so who's there with you?
So no, I don't. It is just my higher self. So when people say to me, "Do you channel
No,
Gabriel?
I
Do
meant
you channel?"
like you're feeling something in the field.
Yes. So speaking, yeah. So there's like a breeze. I've got my son. Like this is
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
so kurta ana. Shawaya kosa ana o sukunti ayaisho to oya. Warata enamo uyiki anese. We shona kaya. Ya tu uru inese eke. Tu una wefa awa no wana ka esha takiyamato usu uro yanne shaya ka aya fu umiantesho mayawa so uno take yata waya nusu uru tusha enaya nayona ya wuku una kali no unde eta akaya das urut shanama yawa so
Mm.
unne osu. So, like, when we're talking like this and we're communicating at that level, and I mean, I can feel everybody here and
Mm-hmm.
know that that was felt. So, bringing that to that level, again, shifting conscious dimension and bringing us up and holding that light container, allowing others to magnetize into it for us to grow and expand as we're supposed to. So, rather than restricting with this residual layer that we have had, there is no residual
That's
layer
right.
anymore. There is just this constant flow of energy that allows us to communicate at that level where, Todd, if you're in your room at night and you're going to pray and I'm praying at the same time, we're speaking at the same
Of
time to
course.
this infinite source energy. So this message that we're putting out, whether that be through rock circles or travel or pilgrimage or poetry or whatever your song is, whatever that song is, sing it, guys, because you are beautiful and it is part of this symphony that we are, that we exist in. This is the beauty of now,
Yeah.
is that it is nothing more than a symphony and we are part of that sound.
Yeah.
So sing, guys, be
That's
there
right.
with yourself, sit with yourself, know yourself, because that's where it all starts. Find you, find source. It's there. We all encompass, we all embody this beautiful, bright, shining star, this diamond, if you will. And then, aside from that, going beyond that, we have this darkness that is so intriguing
Yes.
with so many answers deep within. How deep you choose to go, well, that's your journey. Yeah. So, but like what I can say is there are enough of us here in this now moment that we can support each other through this and we can become this one beautiful, harmonic, balanced energy and thrive,
Right on.
really thrive.
Right on.
My
So
prayer.
having that's very good. I loved it. So
Thank you.
before we get out of here,
Yeah.
you mentioned something about singing, and I
Yes.
know that you were talking about this friend of yours,
Mm.
the musician. Did you want to do something or another poem
Yes.
or a song?
Yes.
Okay.
I would love to work together with whoever feels drawn to me um, in this now moment to come together with me and allow one more exposure of our work.
Mm-hmm.
So the real, because we've done some really hard work, guys. Like we have really knuckled down. We've done our homework. Yeah. So let's get out there and let's show people, our homework, what we've done. Yeah. I've got maps, grids, I've got so many things to share. And it's really just, I don't have transport. I am not like, I'm here, if someone wants to help me, like I'm here, like let's get together, let's have a big chat, let's sit at a round table and chat, guys. Like let's actually get all our shit on the table and like put the puzzle together. It's not that hard. Like it really isn't. It's so simple. We're 9 times out of 10, we're complicating something that is so simple.
True.
Yeah. Let's just all
True.
come together. Like you said, your missus is from Adelaide. I'm here. I'm by myself. I can't even get to my other one. Like I'm like here, like like come here. So I wanted to travel the 7 states. I wanted to see all 7 continents. I want in the physical. I want to put it together. Like I know I've done this like on the outside, like in the
We will.
etherical,
We all will.
Yeah, and this is where we're going. I say want. I need to. We
Yeah.
need to.
We will. We can and will. There's no doubt. Yeah,
But
there's
it's just beautiful connecting. And at the level that we're connecting without the discrepancies or distortion, it is just lovely. And for you to be able to help facilitate this, yeah. So like whether you got it in the ether or whether you got it in the 3D from me, I was like, how can we put this all together? Like it's like we need someone to just pull us all together. No shit, God answered. Like, and I'm grateful, yeah, like because God, source, whatever you want to call it, yeah, Jesus. I mean, I pray to them all at some point, someone heard us and put us together. You have the technology, you have the IT skills to be able to do that. What one lacks in one field, another has in the other. So
it's true.
together, we create this beautiful working
Mosaic.
symphony.
Yeah, like
It's
a
a
living
symphony.
mosaic. Yeah.
I
No,
love
I'm
it.
with you. I've been downloading this for
Yeah.
years, and
It's just
I think it's
beautiful.
all coming. It's our in the energetic fields it's happened, but
I want to go to my temple. Like seriously, like I haven't been back there.
where's your temple? Where is it?
The Kali Puja, so the Kaligat temple. So
Yeah.
if we can, I'd like to go and visit the Kaligat
Is that
temple.
in
That'd be,
India? Is that in India?
yeah, it
Okay.
is.
Yeah.
I know I've got to go to Petra. That's a big one.
Mm-hmm.
And I know California was screaming out for me to get over there. There's a few over there. But like, all in divine timing, we'll all come together. I got my passport just before COVID. You wouldn't believe it. Like, no shit.
Yeah, but I think that was an initiation for all of us, and it's interesting too that you had this boost in April of 2020, which is really pretty
It
much
was huge. Like,
when
that was
yeah,
insane.
but I mean that's like when COVID really came into our
Yeah.
lives.
Well, I did say, does COVID end with me? Like I was like,
Mhm.
it was that, that came out.
Yeah, I got you. I got you. Wow, powerful day. Powerful
It
day.
is,
Uh,
guys. Like for everyone that's here, I'm so excited for the future that well, the now, but I've had some absolutely divine visions, and I see so much beauty and so much harmony, and as this transition has happened, even if you only just go with the last 3 years,
hmm
uh, the impact we are having upon humanity, in the sense of lightening the load, if you
Yeah.
will,
Yeah.
has been absolutely phenomenal. So hats off, guys, and big thank you for everyone who's been carrying that energy and helping to create this new way of being,
Right on.
um, if you will, because we needed it more than ever, as we well know. And so, for the ones who pushed me when I was a little stuck, and for the ones who polished the diamond, as we say, I am ever so grateful. I know at times I didn't see you guys, and for that I apologize. And I am ultimately so grateful for this right here and now, to have been seen and recognized for the role that we have all played. So, you included, Todd, Morgan, and everyone who's here with me. I am with the bottom, all of my heart, I am ever so grateful.
Yeah,
And I send
big,
you love,
and
health, and
as we
harmony.
say at Soulogy, big ass love, big ass ditto, and big ass hugs.
That's it.
And
That's all
thank
it's
you.
about.
Yeah, and thank you for
Absolutely.
the work you're doing. And let's get together again in 2022
No
and
shit.
down the
Yeah.
road. And yeah, just thank you for an incredible hour, and all
It's
blessings
been
to
epic.
you and
Let's do
yours.
it again.
Yeah. Peace
Let's
out.
do it again.
Take
Peace,
care.
guys. Big love.